So Joe Biden is not backing down, man. So I ain't gonna lie, I kind of commend Joe for this right here, man. So the Biden administration to cancel $130 million in student loan debt for 7,400 borrowers in Colorado. 11 days ago, the Biden administration forgave $39 billion in student loans for 800,000 borrowers. This all comes weeks after the Supreme Court rejecting Biden's plans to cancel $430 billion in student loan debt. The original plan would have impacted 37 million borrowers. Now, I will say this, man. You know, this ain't bad for Joe, man. I understand it's a re-election tool. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's a re-election tool, but anytime you can get, 7,400 borrowers in Colorado, 130 million, you just need to come start. Joe, here's what you need to do, Joe. Some of these inner cities where you was accomplished in that 3 strikes you outlaw, because you was accomplished in that. Right? In that, OG, what's the name of it? What's the original name of it? 3 strikes you're out. What's the legal name for it? They got another name for it, OG. OG said, yup, that's it right there. OG ain't give me no help just now. What's the name of it, bruh? The 94 crime bill. There we go. I knew I was gonna get it. The 94 crime bill. You, Joe Biden, you have a lot to do with that. So you need to come to some of these urban areas where you was locking people up at in New York, in California, in New Orleans, in some of them places. You need to come to some of them places too. You know what I'm saying? You need to come to, the same people you said you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Some of the you said you wanted to put crack pipes back in the street. Joe, you need to go to some of them communities and you need to go ahead on and give us some reparations in the form of that. Speaking of reparations, Chicago, we was there. I wanted to talk about that while I was there. Chicago was the first state to give out reparations for black people. Chicago. Huh? What? Illinois is the city. Damn, good shit. Good stuff, cuz. I said the city, huh? Chicago is the city. I meant to say Illinois. God damn. Bullshit. Chicago was the first. No, California it was still pending. I don't think they gave it yet. They were still pending. I could be wrong. But Chicago, it's a little town outside of Chicago. They gave away, I think it's $11 million. I think it's about $11 million. They about $11 million. They've been fighting for some years for it. Yep. Evanston, Illinois. That's it right there. Boom. That's it. Thank you, family. I appreciate that. I meant to say Illinois. Yep. They was the first state to do it and pass the law in doing it. And pass the law in doing it. Not Chicago. It's, Evanston, Illinois. They was the first one to do it, and they actually made it like the law. I know California is still doing it. So, Joe, that's something you need to do. Joe, you need to push that. Like, you know what you did. You know you locked them dudes up bad. You know you was wrecking people. Here's my thing about us, y'all, and I'm gonna keep it real. I think we too forgiving as a people. I think we too forgiving as a people. I don't think we. Nah, I gotta deal with this all night. Chicago is a city. Man, y'all know I be getting caught up sometime, man. Right? I think we too forgiving as a culture and as a city. I'm saying a city. As a culture and as a community, I think we too forgiving. I think we let politicians get away with stuff, and we say this to each other all the time. People can change. But the person who got the life sentence still doing the life sentence. The family that got broke up behind the 94 crime bill still probably ain't recovered yet. You feel me? So why we can say, and I heard this the most when Hillary Clinton ran for president. They were like, she's so forgiving. We got to forgive her for that. I was like, why? Why? Why do we got to forgive her now because she won't run for president? Why we got to forgive her? Because she was pushing that on Bill. Why we got to forgive Bill for that? I think I'm going to be real with y'all, I think we let a simple, I'm sorry. Here's my analogy to that always, and people don't be agreeing with me. If you take a glass, you throw it on the ground, and you say, I'm sorry, does that put the glass back together? I think we too forgiving to these politicians because they do whatever and say whatever to get in office, and they don't care who they hurt to get in office. You feel me? They don't care who they hurt to get in office. They don't care what they destroy to get in office. And then they get in office, they tell us all these lies. They gonna do this, we gonna help do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then boom, they get in office, then they don't do none of that. And so I think we gotta start being more demanding of the vote that you have as black people in lower class and working class people in America. We need to make politicians work for the vote. We got to make them work. You got to make them earn your vote. Like I remember I was watching, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was Selma or something at the end when Oprah Winfrey go to make her vote and he keep denying the vote, keep making her, what you call it? Speak the Constitution. Made her recite the whole Constitution. He probably didn't even know the goddamn Constitution. And then when she messed one word, like what he said, denied. Like your people had to do a lot. We done endured too damn much in this country to be so forgiving. And that's why on a stock market in the streets, I said we got to go from protesting to lobbying. Because lobbying means you got money and your money gave your voice some bass. Like we the only one do a live show with this much production. Like we bar none, we just different. We not in competition with nobody.
To see somebody that looks like us talk about stocks, because I had never seen that before.
You know, we buy during the drought, and in recession is the best time to buy.
I feel a whole bunch of wealth up in here, y'all.
Someone who gives me raw and uncut information.
I know how to break down a company. I know how to invest.
Being a more confident investor.
That Wall Street does look like us, no cliche.
I would no longer fertilize my fears.
That financial trauma has to be broken. We got to understand that we are more than consumers.
One share at a time can change your life, change your life.
What we doing? What we doing?
We're printing money, baby.
I think over the last couple years, just being in America has made everyone realize that there's no such thing as job security.
It's time to take accountability. It's time to be responsible. It's time to make the sacrifices. It's time to put in the work because this time it done got worse. Because this time ain't no saving you.
Wall Street looks like everything on Pittsburgh, man. Stop playing.
Now you can move some things that need to be moved. Now you can say, no, we're not putting them liquor stores in our community. No, you're not putting them check cashing places in our community. No, you're not putting them clubs in our, no. Go try to put a club in a Jewish neighborhood. Go try to put a alcohol in a Jewish neighborhood. It ain't happening. Go to the millionaire white neighborhood. They ain't there either. They ain't there either. They're not there. So we got to understand what's destroying our communities. We got to understand what's going to take to revive and rejuvenate our communities. And we got to understand what's in the way. And then we got to understand collectively the power that we have. I said this on the tour. Very rarely will you see one ant by itself. Very rare. Very rare you're going to see one ant by itself. But when you look, you're going to see a whole line of them. You know why? Because they understand their strength in numbers. They understand their strength in numbers. And so if we look at ourselves, you know how much power we got in numbers? You know how much power you know how big our voice is? I'm gonna tell you something. They know how strong our voice is. That's why they muffle our voice so much. That's why they muffle it. Why you think we haven't had another leader like MLK after Malcolm? Fred, they got rid of Fred early. They know it. He not just bringing the blacks together, he bringing the poor whites and the Latinos together. Now, the government's supposed to do the government's supposed to do. There's always supposed to be a war. War gives reconciliation, but it should never be war on your own people. It should never be war on your own citizens. And one of the things we got to stop doing, I'm going to be real with y'all, in our music, we got to stop promoting violence in our music and then being hurt and being heartbroken when we see what the violence produces. We can't be, damn, not my dog. We can't be, man, I can't believe it took, man, them cowards took. No, the music promotes that. And so many times I done seen pictures of dudes saying, man, RP my dog, this ain't right. But then I go look on dude's page, 8 of the last 10 pictures he had, he got the pistol in his hand. What you think? What the hell that is? We got to change our leaders. We got to change the people we giving our people to look up to. We got to change all that. We got to change all that. We got to stop thinking that it's white for a black dude or a black man to talk a certain way or to read a book. That ain't white, bro. That's, you educated, fam. And guess what? I'm going to keep it. So let me say this right quick. Education got a better success rate of you getting your family out the hood than rapping or playing sports. Say that again. The right education got a better chance at getting you out the hood than rapping or playing sports. For all the people we say playing football, for all the people we say playing basketball, guess how many people are attempting to get there? This is why you see rappers not going to jail for fraud. You know why? Because rapping ain't as profitable as you think it is. Only a select few get there. So now everybody else got to do what? They got to fake it till they make it. They got to fake it. Guess what happens when you got to fake it? You got to be a scammer. You got to be a robber. You got to go hustle. You got to fake it till you get where you going at. And to all my hustlers, to all my hustlers in the street, let me say this. Y'all know I come from it. I got my OG up in here. I'm going to tell you something. None of your big homies ain't taught you about prison. Some of your big homies ain't the big homie in prison. None of them going to look out for you or your kids when you in prison. And lastly, the same people who you say you are protecting from the streets, when you go to prison, you leave them to the streets. All right, let's go a little further. Jim Cramer and Trap finally agree. All right, so watch this. How do we get in the Patreon? Jose, drop the Patreon in the group. All right, so watch this, man. Let's get into it, y'all. So here we go. Y'all know I don't have nothing against Jim, because Jim at one point was a $300 million fund manager, right? And Jim had a 24% rate of return for about 15 years. So when people be saying Jim don't know what he's talking about, you go try to run a fund for 15 years and get a 24% rate of return and show me how you look. You feel me? Show me how you look. All right, but here's what we say. Jim Cramer yesterday was asked about AT&T, and he said, walk away from it. The company is as poorly run as any company I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now, I'm going to say this. 1 week ago, I just said, am I right? 1 week ago, I just said, stay away from AT&T. Stay away from it at all costs. Yes, they have a 7% dividend, but it's trash. Why is it trash? Because the company is $70, $80 billion in the hole. The management team is trash. The industry is not growing. There's nothing about this company I want to be here for. Communication sector is not growing. The only one that's really making moves is T-Mobile from a stock perspective, from a company perspective. Stay away from it, y'all. Stay away from it. Like, it should not be in your portfolio. The company's at $14 right now. That's the same thing it was in 1993. What we doing? What we doing? That is called a dividend trap. Zay, you know they stole my Magnificent 7. Now they on. We ain't even going. Man, don't get me started.